What is up, everybody? It is me, the hostess with the mostest. It is your girl, Easy Breezy, inviting you to join me every Thursday night for the Uplift Show with Breezy, exclusively here on Stellar Award nominated Awesome God Radio. It is my mission here at the Uplift Show simply to enlighten, inform, and inspire the people of God to live our best lives. I'm telling you guys, we got a little bit of everything here on the Uplift Show. We have healthcare professionals, we have authors, we have speakers, we have gospel artists, we have comedians, we have game shows. Yes, game shows. Yes, we do give away cash money up in here. So you're definitely going to want to join us for that. And please, I'm inviting you to come and chit and chat with us as we sit down with some of your favorites, like gospel artists, Dove Award winner, Stellar Award winner, Mr. I Told the Storm himself, Mr. Greg O'Quinn, gospel comedy's sweetheart, Felicia Fifi Moore, and the one and only gospel superstar, Miss Vicky Winans. I'm telling you, we got it all here. So I want you to come laugh, come cry, come chat, come share. I want you all to get lifted right here on the Uplift Show with me, Easy Breezy, and I will see you on Thursday.
Time to get up and start living our best life and listening to uplift your fellow man. What it costs, just still in the hand. Now the thing you understand, let it greatness in your palms for your prayer and build something. When freedom rings, I hope you answer. When you get the calling just to pick up, it's so easy and so breezy like Sunday morning. Let the sun shine in, so open eyes and open ears, cause you know it's
easy like Sunday, breezy, breezy like Sunday, easy like Sunday. Morning, breezy, breezy like Sunday, easy like Sunday, breezy, breezy like Sunday morning.
What it is.
It's the Uplift Show.
Where it is.
Awesome God Radio.
Who it be.
It's Breezy in the house.
When it is.
It's on right now.
What we do.
We get lifted on the Uplift Show. Here we go now.
Easy, breezy, breezy, easy, easy, breezy, easy.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Uplift Show with me, your girl, who forgot to put her mic in front of her face, so I hope y'all even heard me. It is me, Easy Breezy, like Sunday morning. I'm a little bit discombobulated this evening because I don't know. You ever just have one of those days when nothing feels right? You know, you wake up late and the alarm clock didn't go off, and then you miss the bus and you spill your coffee, and it just everything just seems to be a little woogity boogity. It's probably not a word, but I just used it, so it's going to be a word from now on. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in for the Uplift Show just one more time. Thank you for taking a little bit of time on your Thursday evening to spend some time with me, to chit, to chat, to pray, to laugh, to love, to giggle, to cry. Everything that we do here on the Uplift Show is centered around you. And I thank you so much for coming on in and letting me be a part of your day. And by letting me a part of your day, you're letting me be a part of your life. And I so greatly appreciate it. You have no idea. So again, good evening. And as we say on my planet, try to always look out for number one while trying not to step in number two. Yes, I said my planet because those of my longtime listeners know that I am not from here. I have no problems associating with all of you. I'm very happy to be among you most of the time, but this just isn't really my home planet. You know, I have other places that I come from, but for security reasons, I can't let you in on that. I am my own race, color, creed, religion, and species. Thank you very much. Now, our top news story for tonight. Dr. Linguini and his trampolining sheep were the star attraction at a ceiling fan convention this morning, but there was trouble when during a particularly high leap, one spectator says the sheep hit the fan. Stay tuned for more information about that. And some sad news today, of course, as we mourn the passing of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, who is dead today at the age of 58. Rudolph was on his vacation and he was flying over Barcelona. And again, witnesses say that the reindeer in Spain was hit mainly by the plane. So, what is on tap for this evening here on the Uplift Show? Thank you very so much for asking. Did I just say very so much? I think I did. I'm feeling crazy headed, y'all. I'm feeling what did I say? That was woogity woogity. That's how I feel. I feel woogity boogity, but we gonna be all right. Y'all gonna help me get through this. Y'all pray for me, I'll pray for you, and everybody be praying for everybody else. Amen. Amen. Side eye, side eye. So we've got two great things for you today. I have got two very, very special guests that I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But our big news, of course, is that we will be awarding our YGB Award for this year. For our new listeners, the YGB Award is the Young, Gifted, and Black Award. This is the third year running here on the Uplift Show, where we give the community the chance to tell our young people how much we appreciate them, how proud we are of them, how much we love them. So I give the listeners opportunities to nominate their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, neighbors, church kids, students. It doesn't matter. Anywhere between the ages of 8 and 29, just so we can let our young people know that we see what they're doing. We see the positive steps that they're taking. Everything that we see in the media, everything on the news, and, so much negativity. We have to combat negativity with positivity. You cannot overcome darkness with more darkness. You need light. And there are so many of our young people who are lighting our future, and we want to let them know how we feel about them. So we have a special award winner coming up later in the program. But for right now, I would like to introduce you again, like I said, to two very special people. One of them being the reason that I'm here, and the other being the reason that I smile. I love my babies. So first, I'm going to bring into the stream. This is my mommy. Everybody give my mommy a great big hand. Hi, mommy.
Hi.
This is Miss Cynthia Williams, the mother of my life, who I give all kind of problems to because it's fun.
This is
And
true.
then, yes. Now, my mother is now the matriarch of our family. Now that all our grandmas have gone on to glory, so she is going to be representing one particular generation this evening. I, being the next generation, the second generation, I will be representing generation two. Obviously, second is two. Most people should know that by now. And then we have a representative of our third generation in the person of my niece, Miss Natasha Roden. Hi, dear.
Hello.
Now, I want to brag on my baby for just a minute.
Wait, before you start bragging, let me fix my hair because I've been trying to get this together for a long time today.
Lord, how you going to see? Only Black people do that kind of stuff. How Black
Yes.
people going to get on the air and then fix themselves?
That's
Prior
right. I
to the
did that
air, it
before
was
I got on.
good, and then I hit it some kind of way, and it's like lopsided. But I'm listening. Let us brag. Let us brag.
Lord, help her. Help her. I want to tell y'all that my baby is 32 years old.
Woo, 31. Back up.
I,
Go back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot how old I was earlier. Somebody asked me earlier how old I was, and I couldn't remember. I honestly could not remember what my age was. I'm sorry. My baby is 31 years old. She's
Mhm.
got two bachelors, a master's, a great job, a fiance, a beautiful daughter, her own home, her own car. And my baby is killing it. I mean, she's just killing it. She is one of the original recipients of the YGB Award. And I'm just so excited. People will call me, and Tasha, you probably don't know this, but people within our church organization, and sometimes outside of the of our organization, in different business circles, will call me or text me, tell me something. I saw your niece so and so and such and such.
Oh
She's
God.
doing so well. Or I heard your niece speak here. That was your niece, right? That's the same person. I said, yeah, that's the same person. They say you must be so proud of her, and I tell them every time, the only thing she has to do to make me proud is breathe.
Oh, the love. Thanks, guys.
I
I
am
Hey,
just want
so
to
that's
put
my
out
proud
there
of
that
baby
you,
I do
girl.
too.
I do not like being in the spotlight, but
No,
it
but
comes with it.
it comes with the territory. I mean, when you are
All
as
right.
good as you are, I mean, and for goodness sakes, you have my blood flowing in your veins. So,
All
of
right now.
course,
Okay. All right, people.
How is that?
we have the same blood.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay.
Okay.
And
Might want
fortunately
to
for
ask her mama
you,
about that.
Fortunately for you, mother, you also have my blood flowing through your veins. And the impact that I have made on you is just it's almost immeasurable.
You know
um,
what? It is just amazing to
whatever.
see.
Hey, this is my show. I can say whatever I want to say.
Oh man, this is so funny. It's so funny. I get you the same on camera, off camera. People, this is
That's
how
right.
she really is.
That is absolute. Thank you. Tell them again. I do not put on airs when I get on this
This is
platform.
her.
I am the same person
This is
You
always.
very
see,
true.
it's
This
what
is
you get.
very, very true.
You would think that I would change up, like if my pastor or something is on. I don't. Is when she'll be on
Nope.
sometime this month, and sometimes when she's about to come on the show, she'll say, "Now don't you get on here and say nothing crazy." And I say, "Pastor, how well do you know me?" She said, "I know you very well. That's why I'm telling you not to get on here and say nothing crazy."
Amen. Amen, saints.
She know me. Okay, so why do I have my favorite mother and my favorite niece on tonight? Well, unfortunately, I was not feeling well last week, so I did not. So I didn't do a show last week. But I wanted to end up Black History Month with something that means something to me. Now, of course, I said at the beginning of the show that I'm not from this planet, but
Oh my gosh.
anybody who knows me knows that I joke and I tease, but I'm a very proud Black woman. I'm proud to be Black. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of my ancestors. I'm proud of where I come from. Even when y'all get on my nerves, I still love you. So I wanted to, of course, we're giving away our Young Gifted and Black Award, but in addition to that, I want to talk about being Black. And I did a show maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not sure. And the title of it was simply "When I Was Black." And so many people said, "What does that mean when you were Black? When weren't you always Black?" No, I will tell you absolutely honestly, I did not realize I was Black until maybe the last 3 to 4 years. Well, what do you mean by that, Brianna? I'm so glad you asked. My entire life, I've been Brianna. That's it. Or Bree or Bree or Aunt Brianna or Auntie or whatever it is. But I've always been Brianna. I never had to identify with being Black. I just was. It wasn't even a question. It wasn't even anything I thought about. My community was Black. My family's Black. My inner circle's Black. My church family's Black. So, I was just Brianna.
Mhm.
But with the racial turmoil that has shown itself in this country in the last several years, it gave me the realization that I'm not just Brianna, I'm Black. I have to be Black. I have to represent the sisters. I have to represent the brothers. I have to be the African queen. I have to be the melanin queen. I have to be, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And it's a new experience for me. So I started thinking, this might be a new experience for me, but I'm just one generation in a long line of obviously Black people. So I wanted to get some feedback from my mother, who's from a totally different generation, and my niece, who's also from a totally different generation, but we're the same family. We're all Black women in the same situation, but different generations. So I want to get some feedback from them about what kind of things that they have experienced, what they see, what they understand about racism, about colorism, if they've ever dealt with it, how they've had to deal with it, and how it's changed. Whether has it gotten better, has it gotten worse? So that's why I brought these two ladies on here with us this evening. So, Mother, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Are you up to telling your age?
Yes, I am 4 years older than dirt.
Whew.
I'm
And
sorry.
I
looking
would like to
good, might
say
I
that
add.
all of you wonder how I got to be this. That is how I got to be this.
I'm being silly. I am 67 years old.
Now, my mother was born in
Blessings.
1954, and this is really this is like right in the middle of many areas of the civil rights movement. Now, where you're from, DC, this was considered up north. So you
Yeah.
didn't have to go through some of the things that they were dealing with in Birmingham or in Atlanta. You didn't have to deal with those type of things. However, I'm sure that you still had your fair share of racism, especially as I mentioned earlier this afternoon, as a darker skinned woman. Because, as they used to call it, remember the paper bag test?
Yeah.
I don't think neither one of us could pass, none of us could pass the paper bag test.
This is very true.
we
Very
are
true.
we are on the darker side, which is fine. Black is beautiful, black power, ho 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 and all that stuff.
Ho
But
ho.
I don't know. As a matter of fact, speaking of ho ho ho, just for
Wait,
some
where are we
reason it
going?
just hush up, girl.
Sorry.
I just remembered I just popped up in my mind. Mother, you told me once that when I was a little girl, you wanted to take me to see Santa Claus, and the Santa Claus was black, and I said that's not Santa Claus. Santa Claus is white.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Am I
Sure
remembering
did.
that correctly?
Yes, you are very.
So even at a young age, I was quite aware of white and black, but I didn't know that there should be a separation between the two. But anyway, what is your earliest experience with any parts of racism or colorism?
Well, I have to be honest. The only racism that I ever came in contact with, um, I have to say, was the short period of time that I lived in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. This was, of course, before you were born, and trying to get a job down there was very difficult because I was, as you said, I didn't pass the paper bag test. So it was extremely difficult. And the jobs that I got were where I was not seen.
Hmm.
Mm.
You know, I,
Wow.
I I finally got a job at the telephone company, but who sees a telephone operator? You know,
Nobody.
so but growing up, I have to admit that I guess my mother, your grandmother, was very protective of me, and I seldom ran into any racist problems. Here again, we were in DC, so there was a large population, of course, of blacks that
Hmm.
and we didn't encounter a lot of that. In fact, one of my very best friends when I was in elementary school was a white girl. So I like I said, I was, I guess, blessed in that instance that I did not incur any of that at a very young age. Like I said, it wasn't until I moved to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, that I actually ran into any issues like that.
Now, you said when you were younger, your best friend was white. Did her family have a problem with you, or vice versa? I'm sure
No,
our family didn't.
yeah, no, No, Eve and I were very close. We had tea parties and such the like until they moved away shortly after. But I mean, not shortly after. In a while, they moved away. So I guess for a couple of years, I had her as a good friend, and then her family moved elsewhere, and I've never seen her again. But
That
no,
remind
her
me of that
family
show
did not
Any
have
Day
a
Now.
problem with that. What
What you
was
say,
that?
Tasha?
That remind me of that show we used to watch, Auntie. Any
Any
Day
day now.
Now.
I was
That was my
thinking the
show.
exact same thing.
That was my
Oh yeah,
show. That show. I think they still got episodes on YouTube. I think.
I
Anyway,
do watch
I
them
digress.
on YouTube from time to time. Yes, that was an excellent
yeah,
show. Any day now,
yeah.
starring Lorraine Toussaint and
Oh,
Annie Potts.
I just watched
Great
that
show.
show the other day.
You
It's
did?
funny.
Where?
Came on this channel Start TV, comes on in the
Oh,
morning at 9 o'clock. Or 10 o'clock, I think it was. And I was like, I couldn't believe that it's actually they were showing that show was on. Yeah,
oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
Okay.
yeah. But something's funny I want to say before you switch over to Tasha.
Hmm.
I was talking to Sydney, and for people who don't know, that's my husband, earlier, and asking him, did he encounter any racial situations? He's a few years older than me, and he traveled with his father who was in the service, and he was saying that, and they're from his mother's family is from a little town called Lewisburg, North Carolina, and said he went to a place to order a hamburger, and they said, we don't serve the N word in here.
And this
Wow.
was in North Carolina.
This was in Lewisburg, North Carolina. Yeah. And
Hmm.
he said when he was in Germany, one of the little boys was the son of a colonel who told him, "You go play with the sergeant's kids."
Mm.
Wow. Did he
In
say
other
how
words,
old? How old was he when this happened?
um, well, I'm sure he was somewhere around 12 or under. I'm sure
That's still so
because he did say
So
he
young.
this
punched the
is
boy
in
in the
the
face.
what, like
But
the mid to late 40s.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Mm.
no, we'll go 50s because he was born in 47.
Okay.
So we'll say the early 50s.
Mm,
Hmm.
that's horrible.
And so
Yeah.
he was experiencing that in North Carolina just as well as in Germany.
Yes. Yes.
But it was from, I'm assuming, from Americans in Germany, not from Germany.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
So, and I'm sure this young man, wherever that he learned it from his father, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because we are our children's first examples. We're their
Exactly.
first teachers. Anything they know, they learn it from us first.
First. Exactly. Exactly right.
We are the ones who teach young people about acceptance. We are the ones who teach our young people about respect. We are the ones who do that. And if we shelter them too much, then we run the risk of them not knowing what's on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Exactly.
we include, if we have a little too much inclusion, then we also sometimes might run the risk of them falling in with the wrong kind of people. So we definitely have a balance that we
Mm-hmm.
have to maintain. And again, as Black women, as women, period, we carry the load. And this is
Indeed.
not a slight on men, but women carry the load, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
rearing children.
This is true because we have more interaction with them than the men do for the most part.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tasha, have you in your lifetime encountered any direct racism?
So, if memory serves me correct, I wouldn't say direct. Thank God, because I know my mouth and I know my attitude. It wouldn't go well. Thank God. God is very wise. We all know this. And I'm kind of like you, Auntie. Like I grew up in a predominantly black area, grew up in Prince George's County, all black elementary, middle school, high school, all black friends. It's funny, when I would see a white person, and I'm definitely not racist. When I see a white person, I would just be like, that's odd. But I mean, I was very aware of, color and, just race in general. And when I was leaving high school, of course, I wanted to go to HBCU proud. The one I wanted to go to didn't have my major, and the other one I wanted to go to, out of state tuition, was not trying to set myself up for life. So I ended up going to Towson, which we know is predominantly white, so PWI. And that was definitely a culture shock. I remember my first week, I was walking around campus looking for all the Black people. And not saying that I was not saying that I was, I was afraid to mingle. I didn't like white people. Definitely not saying that, but that was my comfort level. It was just like, I don't know these people, we're different. So at any rate, I still ended up, associating with them. I had to. I was in class with them. But I I would, like I said, I wouldn't classify racism, but I definitely felt a little awkward sometimes in my class because I was a criminal justice major, and it would be times where I would be the only Black person in the room. And it would always make me feel some kind of way when we got to a certain topic. And then, you know how people kind of give you that side eye, like, okay, well, let's see what the Black person has to say about it.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
at some point, it was
I
just
know that
like,
feeling.
at some point it was like, okay, well, I like to talk, like to get my opinion out, so let me clarify a few things or let me say something. And then every time I was just like, no, I'm not the mouthpiece for Black people. Like, you
Yes.
guys are going to
Yeah.
continue to read it yourself or figure out what connections you need to make. But no, every time we touch on a subject, I'm not going to be the one talking. And towards the end of my college career, of course, I went to undergrad at Morgan, completely different experience. But towards the end of my Towson career, we did start to see a little bit of racism against the student body as a whole. It was like swastika signs, on I guess people were putting it like on the plots and everything. But it, like I said, for me, it wasn't direct, but it did allow me to make myself more aware of what it would be like once I left this sheltered place. Like, I had to know how to carry myself as an educated African American woman in their world, because
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to higher education and different jobs, they are the ones that's mostly doing the hiring. And it's not like
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling myself out, but I just had to essentially learn how to play their game. So that's one of the things that I will say that Towson has taught me. But still to this day, I don't necessarily say, it's just that I've been blessed to not have had any direct type of experience when it comes down to racism. Now, colorism is a different thing, because we always get the light skin, dark skin test with, because I have quite a
That's
few.
gonna be always, I think.
Yeah, and I have quite a few light skinned friends, but it never, like, of course the famous term is, "Oh, you're cute for a dark skinned girl," and then my response is always, "Well, what does that mean?" So I mean, that was a big thing, in my generation, especially when I was in college. But I feel like that's going to forever be something for whatever
Wow.
reason. Because at the end of the day, we both wouldn't have not been able to sit at the lunch table. But that's another topic for another day.
Well, now you
I'm
know what
thinking about.
I'll have to say that when I got to high school, I did encounter some of that problem because the darker you were, the less, or the dumber you were. I guess the would be the proper term. And the light skinned girls were the ones that always got more attention than us, our
Mm-hmm.
darker skinned ones.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let me say real quick that we have some messages in the comment section, and one of them is from my Italian auntie. My mother's best friend from Pittsburgh is joining us this evening. She's in the comment section, and Aunt Joanne Mazzaka, who is very Italian, meaning she's
Very.
very not Black, but you probably wouldn't know that. She's like Black Italian. I don't know what in the world. But I'm so happy to have Aunt Joanne joining us, and I haven't seen her in a while. We have definitely got to get together
Got
as
to,
soon
got
as the
to.
world opens back up.
Yeah.
Now,
This world won't
one
let us
thing,
break.
Tasha, that I was focusing on, in what you were saying, was how when certain subjects or certain things came up, you had to be the representative.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that often. As a matter of fact, it was Sinbad, I believe, and one of his stand-up routines. He said, "Black people are the only people where one feels responsible for everybody."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where you have to represent, and you're either a credit to your race, or like you say, you sitting on the bus or something and a bunch of Negroes come on acting ugly and loud and playing music and stuff, then everybody looks at you like, can't you do something with them? It's like, I don't know them.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, we have to be, we have so much pressure on us
Yes.
because we are, and we are, the way we are portrayed in different areas of media, different areas of business, different areas of education, different areas of politics, different areas of religion. We are pigeonholed simply because our skin is a specific color. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we're all supposed to know each other. We all supposed to be brothers and sisters. And it's like, no, no, there is no separation of color. And since, since we are Christians, there's no separation in the body. It's not race and color and culture in the body of Christ. We are one. So why is
Right.
it that we have to represent the Black people, and Chinese people have to represent the Chinese people,
Mm-hmm.
and Mexican people have to represent the Mexican people? But here's the thing: white people don't have to. They don't have to represent white people. You never have heard of a white person who was a credit to their white race. You've never heard anybody say, "Oh, that's great that a white person did that." No, because
But
it's already expected that they are and that they do. The
but
only place
we
you might kind of see that is on the basketball team and say, "Oh, they got some white person on the team." For the most part.
but and I have to admit, and I've heard it and I've probably done it too, is when we hear something going on the radio, TV, or whatever, the first thing we say, please don't let them be Black.
Yes, Lord.
Or
Yes.
were they, or please, was that a Black person that did that? And a lot of times we do that to ourselves. We put
We
ourselves
do.
in a position where we're blaming ourselves for being ourselves.
And I think it kind of just comes with knowing that our people aren't easily forgiven, or we're not given the same amount of grace as
Exactly.
others. And
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
like, and that's one of the things I have felt. It's like, okay, well, as soon as I walk into this class, all right, I can't afford to say the wrong thing or
Yeah.
Hmm.
act a certain way, because it's going
You're
to
Black. Yeah.
negatively not only negatively portray me, but others. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
The
it
the race in general. Yeah.
yeah, you do feel that weight, that pressure, when, like, when I went to Morgan. All right, I saw all my people, ain't no weight, no pressure, I was just me. But it's like, you do have, and even sometimes in work, at work, and in just the workplace, you have to, of course, you just want to have a certain amount of work ethic, but overall, no matter where you go as a Black person, you do feel like you have to be on your best behavior, because any little thing you say or do that isn't right, or that isn't, the norm, it definitely negatively reflects not only on you, but the race
The
as a whole,
race
which
as
is
a whole.
unfortunate,
Hmm.
because every
Yeah.
race does something dumb and stupid. It's just
Yeah.
that for
Of
Yeah.
course.
whatever reason, when it comes
That's right.
down
Look
to
at
us, it's
Donald
like,
Trump.
listen, oh
No,
Lord,
that man is orange. He represents himself. He
but
does
I mean,
not
if
represent
we
orange people because he's the only one.
right, and it is unfortunate, because I mean, I kind of hate talking about it, because it's been like the biggest thing for the last 2 months. But even when it comes down to what happened at the Capitol, like, let that have been a Black Lives Matter march, people would have
Oh.
been locked up. But it's
Oh
like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
now, even
Oh
even
yeah.
when it was
Definitely.
happening, and I'm just like, just the grace, like I said, that word, that grace that they were given when they were even at the Capitol, bullets would have been flying. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they would have found resources to detain everybody that was in attendance, had it
You
have
know.
been a different type
Hmm.
of people. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, for whatever reason, it's like, we're always known as the threat, or we're always known as that, those group of people that are just always so angry, and so this and so that. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a certain amount of pressure that, and like I tell people all the time, you don't know what it's like to be a Black person. You don't, to live and go through
No.
this life every day, and gotta watch what you say and how you act, because you just never know.
I have a
True.
friend who is very white, and she's one of those, and I don't mean this negatively, but she's one of those white people who feels for black folks. She does a lot of research, and she's had a lot of education on racial equality, and she reads a lot of books, and she's very much about social injustice, and sometimes she talks about the plight of black people and will start crying, and I'm sitting there looking at her like, what you crying for?
Yeah, we
But but she's sweet as pie, and she is completely and totally genuine. Some people are not genuine about it. Some
Yeah,
people just
true.
want to
right,
placate you, or they want to
right.
patronize you. But no, she's completely
Mm-hmm.
genuine. I have no problem with that. But some of the, she's trying to learn how to be a black woman. And I said, I'm sorry, honey. I've been blacker longer
And
than you have.
yeah,
And you're not going to ever be
That's
able to
not going to work.
experience.
it's not something that
You're
can be
not going to
taught.
be able to experience what we experience, because we have we are a product of the environment that we come from. And that goes for any people, white people, black people, Spanish people, Asian people, whatever. You are a product of your environment. Whether you live in, low class, middle class, working class, high class society, wherever you are in your life, it's because that's where you were reared. We are shaped by our experiences, and our experiences over generations and generations have been those very negative connotations. There have been those that we are second class citizens. It's
Yeah.
been those that we are not capable of going as far or doing as much as white people, or in other colors. And we have that. Like, let's talk about Chinese people. You hear about Chinese people, or whatever, you automatically think, oh, they must be good with computers. When you hear about Jewish people, oh, they must be great with money. So it is not just us
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that get pigeonholed into a certain category, but again, it is not white people. White people are not pigeonholed the way we are. And Ma, as your, as the representative here of the older generation, why exactly do you think that is? That we blacks and browns and minorities are, we have our cultures that we're supposed to stay in our little box and never come out, but white people don't.
Well, I think a good portion of it is is the way we were brought up. Because if you go back to my grandmother, your great grandmother, or the like, or your great great grandmother, this is the pigeonhole that they were put into, that they weren't as good as we were, but we had to you had to prove yourself. But even if you proved yourself, it didn't make you an equal. And I think the whole bottom line was, from slavery on, we were never meant to be equal. But we have
You
to.
saying equal right there really, and I'm sorry to interrupt,
That's
but
okay.
I'm thinking the reason that we cannot be equal to white people is because white people's standard is, let's say, from on a scale of 1 to 10, if a white person's highest standard is 10, a black person's highest standard doesn't go past 7. So even if we are at the top of our game at 7, we're still not going to reach the top of their game, because they're way up here. And
Because
we've set ourselves at 7 because we've been taught, we've been beaten down.
brainwashed.
We've been brainwashed to feel that this is as high as we can go, and this is good for us. When
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama became president, that was like he shattered the ceiling, but we still feel it down here.
Yeah,
He might have gotten to 10, but the rest of us can hope. We the highest we can think to get is 7. We're gonna get
yeah,
to that 7, and once you hit 7, you got it made.
yeah,
But
yeah,
7 for us is nothing to them.
yeah. Well, Barack was an exception to the rule, and we are, and as far as they're concerned, and like I said, and a lot of us have been, you know, brainwashed. I have to use that word, and to believing that that's the only as far as we're going to go. But it comes from years and years and years of being made to feel that way.
So if
And
I can play devil's advocate, because I
uh,
definitely agree with that, but just seeing the other side and definitely not making excuses for our people, because we can definitely continue to go further. But just using the example,
Amen.
in the news, this whole voting thing of how now they're trying to change, different restrictions and all of that. I think some of that is also because, let's say we use this example, we're at a 7, they're at a 10. I feel as though, because, and this is not calling out a certain particular people, but this is just fact, that whenever we do start to increase or elevate, it's like all of a sudden the rules of the game are changed. So the moment it looks like we're hitting that 8, okay, now they need to go above 10. I feel like there will never be a sense of equality until we start
Mm-hmm.
to acknowledge equity, because at no point in time was there ever a level playing field. We were always at the bottom trying to get higher or elevate or
mhm,
what have you. But it's like every time we try to elevate, then the other party elevates. And it's like there's always going to be that gap there. So it's like I feel
Agreed.
as though we also have to be cognizant of, as much as we try, and we try to fight the good fight, and we try our best, to get all the education and knowledge that we
mhm,
can. It's like at some point on the other end of the spectrum, it's like we always feel like that the race is always being lifted above us, that we just can't reach. It's kind of like a goal that is just unobtainable. And I feel like
yeah,
that's
Like
how
the
a
like
lot
the
of
dangling that carrot in front of the horse, where
right,
trying to get the horse to
yeah,
move, but
right.
yeah,
And
the horse will never
prime
catch
example,
that carrot.
yeah,
looking at now when it comes to like loans, and this I didn't realize this because obviously I went to Towson, and just a prime example of people like us, to be able to be afforded to go to college. A lot of people like us, they don't have trust and all that for college education. They rely on student loans, which is great. It's definitely an opportunity to get a higher education. However, the moment you graduate, you got Sally Mae and you got all of them knocking at your door. So you're already at a disadvantage, because
yeah,
now you are loaded in debt. You really can't obtain that American dream of home ownership and everything, because you have to take care of that responsibility. However, knowing from just my experience, the counterparts that I've been in contact with, they don't have that over their head, because they've even had they've had like a trust, or they've had some type of money left to them where college education was already paid for. So it's like now they get a few steps into the real world with not having to deal with the amount of debt that we have, just because of their their background and their environment. So I feel as though that's the example that I'm leading to when I say it's just that the playing field was never leveled to begin with.
mhm,
So I feel like there's
Hmm.
always going to be that gap there, because it's
yeah,
great to come out of college with a great job, not having to worry about you in debt 60K plus. But then you have us, like, people like us who that was their only way to obtain a higher education. So
yeah,
now I have to
yeah,
deal with that first before I can even look into the other possibilities of home ownership and all of that in order to acquire
Wow.
wealth. So I feel like that's kind of like also the other side of it
yeah.
as well.
That brings me to
Ladies.
mind of a statement that was said many years ago, and I don't know who said it, but they said the statement went, "Every time I think I've reached the end of my rope, somebody moves the ends." When you were talking about when we get to a certain point, somebody
Hmm.
goes up here, and then that means we got to move up higher.
Mm-hmm.
But when they go up higher and we go up higher, they go up even
Even
higher.
higher. Yeah.
So
Because
somebody keeps moving
we
the
have to
ends of
be
those
twice as
ropes.
good. Yeah, we have to do
Exactly,
twice. We have to do twice to be considered half.
Right.
exactly, exactly.
Now, ladies, this conversation is absolutely phenomenal. But I do want to our it looks like that our YGB Award winner has joined us, and I want to get to him.
Yay.
And I want to get to him definitely before we run out of time. But this conversation is not finished. This conversation actually will never be finished.
No, you're
Never.
right.
This conversation will not be finished until every single person on this earth is equal to the other person on this earth, and I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
But let
Not
me
till we
let me
get to
make sure
heaven.
that he's there. Jay, are you there, honey?
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Jay.
Fabulous. We are being joined now by James Powell Jr. I am so happy to finally, we've been exchanging emails, and I'm very happy to finally see your face.
Me too.
Now, for longtime listeners of the show, our longtime viewers will know that super producer JP, our own AGR family member, James Powell, who used to produce the show before COVID sent everybody home, this is James's son.
Very
And
Hello.
good.
let me tell you
Hello,
something,
hello.
James. Do you prefer to be called James or Jay?
James.
Okay. If you are half as sweet as your dad, I love you already.
Thank you.
I often call him my undercover fiance. He's a sweetheart, and he was so he was a little late in nominating this. He was like, "Wait, Breezy, please. I know it's late, but I have got to nominate my son. Let me tell you how great my son is. He is so very proud of you, and his pride in you rubbed off on me, and I don't even know you, but I was so proud. I was proud of you without even knowing you because he is so proud of you. Whatever happens in life from this moment forward, don't ever forget how proud your father is of you. And with that being said, I I am always excited to see a young black man doing
Mhm,
what is right, going in the right direction, hanging with the right people, making the right
Yes.
connections. Because if you've heard any of the conversation that we've been having, yes, we are Black women having the conversation, but we're talking about experience of Black people as a whole. And we are already looked at as inferior. We are already portrayed negatively in so many areas of life that there's so much darkness that um, that holds down Black people that we need as many rays of light as possible. And you are definitely a ray of light in the darkness that can be.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm James, as she said, and I go to Baltimore School for the Arts downtown in Mount Vernon. I study theater there, and I'm graduating this year during
Woohoo,
COVID.
Good
woohoo,
for
So
woohoo.
you.
Excellent.
hopefully I won't get
Congratulations.
to celebrate as much as I'd like
Oh,
to, but
I
I'm still
know.
graduating.
Wrong now.
And this fall I will be attending Temple University in
Oh,
Philadelphia as a
go
musical theater
ahead.
major on a
Congrats.
full
Temple,
tuition
excellent
scholarship.
school.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Hold up, hold up. Woo, woo.
Oh, I miss my college
Woo. Okay, I'm
days.
done.
Yes, indeed. You got it, brother. That's a great
It's a
university. So
great
you,
school.
yes.
So, how did you get into theater?
When I was, I'll say 8 or 9, I did a play in my church actually, and I just played a little boy, and I walked up with one of the older women in the church, and I like knocked on the door, but that was it. And I was like, oh, I think I like this. And it wasn't until eighth
Oh,
grade, again, that I was a part of my school's production of Cinderella that year. And I was just like another, like in the background, but I just never forgot that feeling I had while being up on stage with all these other people. So when I applied to Baltimore School for the Arts, I actually applied under instrumental because I was playing the cello at the time. But I checked off the theater box too to audition for because it was another interest of mine. So I auditioned for both and I got into theater and, I went to school for theater. And while I was there, we've worked to like hone our crafts and done performances and stuff. And over the last 4 years, not this past year, of course, because we were out of school, but so over the last 3 years, I've just really learned how passionate I am about theater and acting. And it wasn't until last year that I really found my like special interest in like musical theater, and it made me start to work harder at that, like on singing and dancing. And so then I applied to college for it, and that's what I'll be doing. So
That's great.
Well, let me
Fantastic.
say, I had not planned on doing this because honestly, I just didn't even think about it until you said theater. But I will be performing in an upcoming production of For Colored Girls. Have you ever seen that play?
Yes.
Okay. I'm it's very big obviously in the theater community. So the production is coming to Baltimore in May. I believe it's the second weekend in May, 14th, 15th, 16th, one of them. And as part of your YGB, which of course, for those of you who are not aware, I just realized that we got right into it and I didn't even tell people what was going on. So let me start from the beginning. Every year here on the Uplift Show, every February to celebrate Black History Month, we have what we call the YGB Award. The YGB standing for Young, Gifted, and Black. And this is where people from all of the listeners from all over Baltimore are able to nominate special young people in their lives, whether it be their children, their nieces, nephews, neighbors, it doesn't matter, but to recognize our young people who are doing positive things in the community. So James, I'm going to be a part of this play, and I would like to gift you as part of your award. I would like to give you 2 tickets to come and see the show.
Really? I love to
Absolutely,
do that. Thank you so much.
I am playing the lady in purple. Now, a lot of people, I mean, most people have seen the movie, and the movie was good, and I thought Tyler Perry did a great job. But the play is a whole different experience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to our director tomorrow. Make sure I have those tickets set aside for you, and we'll talk. We'll definitely talk more about it and find out the best date and time for you and everything.
Okay.
But I am personally going to add that into your prize package.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Now, you told them, or you told us, that you received a scholarship to Temple, but you didn't tell us it was the president's scholarship.
All right.
Yes. Yes, it
Father has let
was.
us know. He said James said he got the president's scholarship to Temple
Yes.
University.
Get that money.
Say it again. What?
Scholarships
Student loans
coming
are
your
no
way.
fun.
No, they're not.
No,
I'm
they are
still
not.
paying. I'm still paying. But it's worth
And you
it.
know what,
It's
babe?
worth it.
There are people who go to their graves still owing student loans.
Yeah, and I'm probably one of them.
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
man.
So, are you going to be in any upcoming productions, James?
Right now, my school is working on a production of She Kills Monsters. It's like a fantasy comedy show that got converted to be able to work on Zoom. And I think it'll premiere like sometime in May. I think probably before we get out of school. So like late April, early May, I think we'll be like presenting it at our school. So yeah, that's what
And
I'm
tell
doing
me
right
again
now.
the name of it.
She Kills Monsters.
She Kills Monsters. Okay, well, you definitely have to keep me up to date on that so that we can promote you here on AGR.
Thank you.
As we all say, we are AGR, the whole AGR family. We are a family, and we promote each other. So we definitely want to keep you supported and let you know that you are part of the AGR family. You already know this, of course, because you're not only a part of the AGR blood family, but you're a part of the AGR team. So if there's ever anything that Breezy can do, anything you need for an uplift show, you need I don't know, kidney transplant or something. I don't know. If there's
Hope not.
you wouldn't want my kidney anyway. But if there's anything that I can do, and I definitely say without a shadow of a doubt that goes for all of our hosts, all of our AGR family members. Anything that you ever need, you need some support, you need a show to come on to promote something. All you got to do is let us know, and you got it.
Definitely.
Now, how old are you, James?
17.
Okay.
18 in
Now,
June.
Mhm.
is there anything that you would like to share, a piece of wisdom, a piece of advice, or something for some other young men who might be listening right now?
Well, recently, I did a piece in the Hopkins magazine about racism as a public health crisis. And it was me and four other teenagers, I think. And a lot of us were stories from our childhood that we had um, to deal with that. And I think it's really important to know how different our upbringing is from our other peers who don't share our experience, and that
Mhm.
it can be really difficult to try and like rise above that and move past that and try to establish yourself in whatever career field you're trying to follow. So I think the most like important thing I can say is to stay true to yourself and stay strong on your path, because no matter, if you think the next person is doing better than you, you have to stay in competition with yourself at all times.
Amen.
Good.
That is absolutely wonderful. And I have to say this, or else I might get beat up. I don't want nobody's grandma coming after me. But Miss Cynthia says, and his grandmother is very proud of him.
Thank you.
I don't want your grandmother coming after me. I know your grandmother. So, so I definitely wanted to make sure that you know that she said that she is listening and she's proud of you, like we all are. So, James, I am going to let you go at this point because we're just about out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and I want to thank you for being a stand-up young man of God.
Yes, indeed,
Yes,
indeed,
yes, yes.
indeed, indeed.
Congrats
We need
You're
more.
again.
definitely
We
doing it.
need more like you, baby.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got yourself a surrogate grandmother up there now because her name is Cynthia. Okay, so we will definitely keep in touch. I'll send you I'll send you an email as soon as I remember because I guarantee you that I'm not going to remember this evening. But as soon as I remember and I talk to the director, I'll send you an email. We'll work out when you'll be able to come to the play. Get you tickets. Bring whoever you want. Bring your dad. Bring your girlfriend. Bring whoever. Okay. And then at that time, you'll receive the rest of your prize pack. Is that all right?
Yes, that's perfect.
Excellent. All right, dear. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a blessed night, and we're gonna keep in touch.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope you all have a great night.
You
You too, dear.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
Bye.
year.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That is absolutely awesome.
yes.
I
Learn
was
something
totally
simple.
not expecting him to say a theater major. I really wasn't. I don't know what I was
Mm.
expecting. I just wasn't expecting him to say theater major. But that is just great. I'm so, like I said to him, I am so happy to see our young black men doing something besides standing on the corner with the pants hanging off their butt.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, please.
Because there are no belts and no stores and no
Yeah, of
nowhere.
course.
I saw this man in Walmart, and he was an employee, and his pants were so big and hanging so low that I thought he was wearing a skirt.
Oh my goodness.
I honestly thought the man was wearing a skirt, and I had to look real hard to figure out what was wrong with his clothes. And I
I
said, how
just
in the
don't get
devil
it.
can you even work like that? I mean, his crotch was all down between his knees. Like, how do
Mm.
I
you
don't
do
get it.
that? Why is that comfortable?
It's not.
Yeah,
I don't
it can't be.
understand. I think it was Medea who said that's why y'all get caught by the cops because you can't run. Pull your pants up.
Exactly.
So, mother, we
Yes.
are. Oh yeah, okay. It's 9 o'clock, so technically we're out of time, but technically it's also my show, so I can go as long as I want to. So, um, since I gave James the opportunity to give any words of wisdom as an older black woman from your generation, what would you say to a young black girl who was just graduating from high school? Let's say 17 years old. She doesn't yet have any, doesn't have no children. She's just ready to get started with her life. And you are getting to speak to her at her graduation. What do you say?
Wow. First off, I think the most important thing I could tell them is whatever wherever you go and whatever you try to accomplish, be proud. Don't ever get rid of your pride. That is the most important thing because if you are not proud of yourself, nobody else is going to be either.
Mm, I love it. And Tasha, you have a very young daughter. Where is she, by the way? She
Um,
sleep?
somewhere probably running amok.
Okay. Um, can you get her?
Um, let me see if she's not getting ready for bath.
Okay.
Should be
Well, as
bath
long as
time.
she's not naked, because we don't have that kind of show.
Is she up? Let me see. Why? Oh yeah, she running. Come here. Oh, she just turned away from me. Okay.
She
Come
ran
here.
away from her own mommy.
Yes.
Hi,
Excuse the
Ting
hair.
Ting.
Oh, she can't hear you. Say hi.
Hi, Ting Ting.
Hi, Pumpkin.
Gonna blow a kiss?
Mwah.
Mwah.
That is our baby. And so you are now looking at generation 4. So there are now 4 generations of foster women on this stream right now. So Tasha,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you want to instill into your daughter more than anything?
Ooh, more than anything. Um, it sounds so cliche, but just through my experiences, just keep God first. Like seriously. When you're younger, I was dragged to church all the time. So it's just like didn't understand it. Didn't understand it.
Of course not.
And Daddy just dressed me up. I had to act like I was happy to be there. But
Yes,
I
with your
can
cute little patent
honestly
leather shoes and
listen.
your
And
your
the
That's right.
frilly itchy stuff
socks.
under the dress. Oh man, it was
Right.
horrible. But she used to cut it off for me, so I was good. But that's one thing I can say that I am grateful for. Just looking at some of my friends who kind of don't have that foundation. Without that foundation, life is going to be life. But without that foundation, I really can't say where I would be. It's one thing to have people pray for you, but when you know to how to pray for yourself, it's a completely different ball game. So for
Hmm.
her, just even through the pandemic, church is a
Hmm.
little different, but even to kind of see her, maneuver and like when she hear like worship music and stuff, like I can say that that's probably going to be one of the proudest moments I have is just to see her grow in the church because I feel like that's something that no matter how rocky and nasty the world may be, that's something that nobody will be able to take away from
Take
her.
away.
Nobody can
Indeed.
take that away from her. So that's one you can't hang up.
Wow.
That's one thing that I can definitely say would be one of the things that I think would be most key that I instill in her.
I love it.
You
I
sleepy?
love it. I love it.
But we did a pretty good job with Tasha, didn't we, Mother?
Yes, we did. And
Indeed.
and and for your information, you went to church so you could get to McDonald's after we left.
Did. And I would just talk about that the other day. I remember the McSalad shakers. Like we used to always go to McDonald's. Now I don't
Always.
go to McDonald's. It was just a fun experience. And then used to have
Soon
the
as
little
service was over, we
butterscotch.
going to McDonald's?
Yep. I used to get my little butterscotch candies in service.
That's right.
It was amazing. It was a wonderful experience. So I'm
I don't
thankful.
remember nothing about no Jesus, but I remember I used to get butterscotch.
I used to get butterscotch. Listen, that's how you rear the people in, and then when you got them, then everything else is good. But it started with those candies,
Hmm.
man.
Well, we are going to close out. I had some other things that I had planned, but the conversation just got so good that, it just didn't happen. As a matter of fact, I had a nice Vicky Winan song queued up to play, but, it's all good. It's all good. Miss Vicky will wait till next week. But
Night night. Say night night.
I would have to say,
Night
night
night.
night.
Night night.
Okay, she about to fall out. There you go. Okay, you can have it. It's all about you. It's all about you.
If there's anything that I would say to any young ladies, young gentlemen who are watching, not necessarily in my generation, but in every generation, you don't have to be Black. You are Black. You can't help what you are. You are Black, so you don't have to be that way. You don't have to portray yourself as a Black person. You are a person. You don't have to portray yourself as a stereotype, because you're not. You are an individual. You are a child of God. You are special. You are blessed, and you are loved just for who you are. Now, of course, we have to live in this world. We have to get by. We have to do the best that we can do. But it's like, some people say to me, "Oh, what is your show about?" "Oh, it's you. I guess it's on Awesome God Radio, so it must be some kind of religious show." Or, "I know you saved, so you must do some kind of church show." No, being saved or being a Christian is not what I do. It's who I am. I can't not be who I am. I can't not be a Christian. I can't not be Black. That's just who I am, but it doesn't have to be what I do. I do more than just that. So for all of my Black brothers and sisters, you are Black, but you can be anything you want to be. So
Very
I will never let you go without our uplifting thought of the night. I'm going to skip dumb tweets. We're not going to do no dumb tweets tonight, but I will never, ever leave you without an uplifting thought of the week. And I thought this is very appropriate, coming from the one and only Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he says, "I have learned," no, wait a minute. "I have decided to stick with love because hate is too great a burden to bear."
Mm.
We cannot hate on a color. We can't hate on a race. We can't hate on a religion. We have to stick with love, because hate is a lot of work. Hate is is more work than it's worth. So let us continue to move together in love as brothers and sisters, not as Black people, not as white people, not as Chinese people, not as Asian people, but as people. So let's stick with love. And with that being said, Mommy, thank you very much for joining us. Tasha, thank you
indeed.
so much. This has been an awesome experience that I will not forget. And for all of the listeners out there tonight, as always, I want you to get love, get peace, get wisdom, get understanding, and above all, get
Get
lifted.
lifted.